All right, guys, let's talk about what I get asked the most. Like, please, what do I do with the pests attacking my Njama Njama? So there are different types of pests that can attack your Njama Njama plants. You can deal with biting and chewing insects, and how you would know, you would have holes in your leaves that look like so, something like this, something ate off that part, something put holes. Another very common pest in the Njama Njama garden is aphids. Aphids, and you would see aphids when you have twisted leaves like so. And then when you look on the underside of the leaf, this is not a good example. Let me find a good example of aphids. All right, guys, this is how you know you have aphids in the garden. The leaves will be twisted like so and like so, okay? And if you look on the underside of the leaf, you would find the aphids themselves. Very gross looking, tiny insects. And sometimes you would find ants in there as well, okay? So this is aphids, like so. Sometimes you would find ants along with the aphids, and that's because ants and aphids are like rice and beans. Okay, they have a symbiotic relationship. One helps the other. The ants helps the aphids helps the ants. The aphids eat your plants, produce sugars, the ants feed on the sugars. So usually when you have an aphids problem in the garden, you have an ants problem. If you take care of the ants, usually the aphids issue would go away. So what do I do and what can you do? If you look here, guys, I'll show you. See these flowers? They are known as marigolds, marigold flowers. I have them there not just to make my garden beautiful. It does make my garden beautiful, but it does have a functional use as well. Those flowers, they help to repel pests in the garden. They repel the snails and the slugs, and then they also attract another type of insect, which is a beneficial one known as the ladybug. The ladybug goes around and feeds on the aphids. It feeds on the bad insects. Not all insects in the garden are bad. So if you have those ladybugs, which the marigolds help to attract, they will help with the aphids. They will help to repel slugs and snails. The other solution is I have some products with which I will show you. This one here. It says ant control for organic gardening. They're pellets. I just put, you know, I just dust some around the garden, and you can do so, I believe, once every 30 days, something like that. But this helps to control ants in the garden. It also helps to control snails and slugs in the garden. Good for organic gardening. There's another product that I use, this one right here, bug and slug killer. It kills bugs, snails and slugs in the garden. Again, these are pellets, and you sprinkle around your garden, and it helps to control that. The goal here is not to kill all the snails and slugs and pests in your garden, but we're trying to find balance. We're trying to find balance. We're trying to live in harmony with these things so they don't take over your garden and your hard work, but then we can get a harvest. That is the goal. In fact, if you do find Njama Njama without any of the twisted leaves or any holes, run. It means that that garden has been heavily sprayed with insecticides, and that's not good for your health either. There's another product that I use, this one here. And I only pull this out when I really have a bad infestation to spray. It helps with caterpillars, it helps with thrips. Thrips is another type of insect that can just cause like havoc overnight. It puts tiny holes in your Njama Njama and basically wants to destroy it. So when I notice that in the garden, I pull this one and I spray the garden with. So yeah, guys, that's how I manage pests in my Njama Njama garden. I come at it on several fronts. I plant the marigolds, the flowers, and then I also, put spray the ants thing to control ants and therefore control aphids. And then I use the bug one to control snails and slugs in the garden. I hope this was useful.